Hello, welcome to the House of Bloom. I'm your host, Clayton Bloom. In this video, I'm going to say my thoughts and my, predictions, because it hasn't happened yet, so there's could be a good chance that this is how they bring back Becky Lynch, but these are my thoughts how they should. Only time will tell what will happen. I'm a firm believer that they had something started with Asuka, and that's where you take this storyline. What I would do is either put the belt back on Asuka and have Rhea Ripley start another storyline without the belt, or there is a draft coming up. You have her drafted to SmackDown just to separate the two. You have Asuka have the belt. I would have a heel team. My first thoughts were the Riot Squad. As you know, one of them was let go. Nobody knows why. It made no sense. They were a great team together. They were great wrestlers, separate. No, not gonna get into it now, but WWE, have you been drinking again? You might have been drinking again. Pretty sure you've been drinking again, because you're making a lot of really strange screw-ups. Unless we find out later that some of these releases were actually requested by the wrestlers, they should not have been let go. And the fans have been letting you know. They're wondering if you're okay. But you have a heel faction be taking on Asuka. You have them fight each other multiple times. And you need to think of a way to have Asuka keep the belt and kind of win, but not quite win, like a double count out or double disqualification, or so the challenger has reasons why she should keep getting shots, but Asuka doesn't look weak either. Finally leading to a big match. I would prefer WrestleMania. Now at WrestleMania, that's when you have your blow-off match. You have the heel team, just one of them. I'm not trying to say this is a 2-on-1 match. In a way it is. It just would help out with the disqualifications and the reason why Asuka looks strong, because she holds her own, but she doesn't win at the same time. That's why the heel keeps getting her shot back. At the end of the match, Asuka finally wins clean, 100%. The heel's pissed. The friend of the heel's pissed. They start beating Asuka up. They're gonna put her out and just get the belt vacated. They're pissed. They can't take it anymore. They can't believe that Asuka actually won. Cue the music. Becky Lynch finally makes her return. She takes them on, and the heels start just running. Asuka gets up. I was like, "Oh, thank you, man. You're the man. Nobody else had my back, thank you." And that's when Becky Lynch unveils a new move, something like the stunner. Right, I like the idea of the stunner, but I don't too. That's kind of more Kevin Owens, thinking maybe like a some form of like fast paced like DDT, something she can do to any girl like in real quick, and she just leaves Asuka laid out flat cold, picks up the belt, holds it up, lays it back down on Asuka, and walks away. Next day on Raw, you have an interview with Becky. Becky, why'd you do that? Well, why did you beat up Asuka? And this is where Becky's really got to show her promo skill. It needs to be a nice, strong promo. I respect Asuka. She's a hell of a competitor, but that's it. She's a competitor. I didn't want her getting injured and that belt having to be vacated. I'm back now, and I want her to understand I'm coming for my belt. I never technically lost it. She's just been holding onto my property. Something along that line. I'm not a promo person. I'm not a wrestler. I don't get paid to wrestle. I don't even get paid to do YouTube. But I'm doing this for fun, and I'm hoping you all enjoy it. Later, They finally confront each other on Raw. They want to go at it. They want to have a match. Asuka can see where Becky is coming from. She believes that she deserves a shot to get her belt back. Cue the next music. Stephanie McMahon. She goes ahead and puts her 2 cents in, saying, "Hey, Becky, it's great to have you back, but you just came back. You don't get a championship match that quickly. We need to know that you're still up to par. We need to know that you still deserve to be at the top of the list. So you need to start from the bottom and work your way back up. And I'm sure a star like you would have no problem working your way from the bottom up very quickly." Becky's pissed that she's not going to get her title shot, that Stephanie's going to hold her up. This will then lead into finally Asuka and Becky eventually fighting for the belt against each other. You could have a couple matches where Becky runs out, interferes with the matches, Asuka asking for her to have her match, Stephanie saying no, just kind of postponing the inevitable. I would eventually have the Asuka Becky Lynch match for a big payoff. Probably I'm thinking SummerSlam. I think that would still be a pretty long time, but I think it's a big enough match. You can't stretch it out always to WrestleMania, but if you start this at WrestleMania and have it end at SummerSlam, that's not too bad. It'd be a stretch, so you'd really have to work this angle pretty well and keep it pretty entertaining, but I think it's still doable. Eventually, this could lead to Becky getting the belt back and starting a similar champion versus McMahon feud, similar to what Stone Cold was with McMahon. You have kind of like Becky, it's already calling her the man, it's already kind of like the anti-hero, the fan favorite, doesn't always play by the rules. You have that can lead you to a storyline with those two. Maybe a match down the road, or maybe just having Stephanie pick her own chosen champion. At least those are my 2 thoughts. I think it would be a great idea. WWE doesn't always choose the greatest idea. I'll have to one day share my thoughts on what I would have done with the last Women's Royal Rumble and with Bayley. I may not be the most fan favorite, but I think that's the route I think I would have went with Bayley, and I'll share that for another video. But thank you for tuning in to the House of Balloons. Bye bye.